Welcome to the Nevis newscast for Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. The Premier's press conference, previously scheduled for Tuesday, March 25th, has been postponed to Monday, March 31st. The Office of the Premier regrets any inconvenience this may cause. The press conference will be held at the Cabinet Room on the second floor of the Social Security Building at Pinnis Estate. Premier the Honourable Mark Brantley will provide an update on matters pertaining to Nevis, and members of the press will have the opportunity to ask questions. The Premier's press conference will be broadcast live from 10 a.m. on Nevis Television NTV Channel 99, Nevis Television Facebook page, and Nevis Newscast YouTube channel. As part of the Green Climate Fund GCF Regional Dialogue in St. Kitts and Nevis, a delegation from the fund, led by Executive Director Mafalda Duarte, visited the island of Nevis on March 18th. As the world's largest climate fund, the GCF accelerates transformative climate action in developing countries through a country-owned partnership approach and use of flexible financing solutions and climate investment expertise.
And it is extraordinary to know that the potential here is 1 gigawatt of geothermal power, where the needs may stand around 30 to 50 megawatts. So the potential for the country like St. Kitts and Nevis, not only to service their own needs, which will expect it to increase as you further develop, but to export into the region and potentially even tap into these opportunities of green hydrogen markets. So the potential is really extraordinary to transform this country and other countries in the region. So it's quite an honor for us again to be part of this program with the Inter-American Development Bank and the Korean Development Bank, and we will do what we can in our power to make sure that that we get these results as quickly as possible and eventually amplify the results.
The visit commenced with a meeting with the Honourable Mark Brantley, Premier and Minister of Public Utilities and Energy in the Nevis Island Administration.
We have been on this journey for quite some time in terms of geothermal and renewable energy, and I think that we'll have an opportunity to have a deeper discussion. But for now, for me, it's welcome to Nevis. I think this is your first trip to the island. And it says something, I think, and it ought to say something to our public, that someone at your level has decided that this is an important enough initiative for you to be here and to come in person. So we're very grateful for that. I've had meetings with the Green Climate Fund and others before, but I think this is the first time we've been afforded the opportunity to meet with someone at your level. And I don't think that the significance of this should be understated or ignored. And so I welcome you to Nevis.
The GCF delegation was accompanied by the Honourable Conris Maynard, as well as representatives of the Caribbean Development Bank and the Inter-American Development Bank.
It is really our distinct honor and privilege to have you in our federation and for us to have this opportunity to show the vast potential that Nevis and by extension the Federation has with respect to renewable energy. Again, I want to echo the sentiments of the Premier that by having you here in Nevis and in St. Kitts, that significance cannot be understated. We value it. We see it as an indication that our message, our vision, our potential is being heard in the right places, and we hope that it will redound to significant benefit, yes, for Nevis, yes, for St. Kitts and Nevis, but also for the region around us. So we look forward to these engagements.
Facilitated by the Nevis Electricity Company Limited (NEVLEC), the representatives of the Green Climate Fund toured the Hamilton site of the Nevis Geothermal Energy Project via the route from the Long Point port. NEVLEC is embarking on the Nevis Geothermal Energy Project, which is the first phase of the St. Kitts and Nevis Islands Climate Enhancement Project. St. Kitts and Nevis can play a major role in the global initiative to fight climate change by diversifying the energy mix and increasing energy security by utilizing the abundant geothermal resource of Nevis. Daniel Atherton, owner of Nevis Hydro Gardens, is the patron for the 2025 hosting of Agri Expo, put on by the Ministry and the Department of Agriculture.
Nevis Hydro Garden. So Nevis Hydro Garden is a part of the DA farm, Daniel Atherton farm. And so fast forward through time, we had some changes in the composition of Nevis Hydro Gardens, and I took it over fully. And then what happened is I have now extended the farming operation to a more sustainable farm operation where I do water harvesting. Right next to the entry point, there are about 2,050 gallons of harvested water in containers. Then the area by the hydroponics, above another 800 gallons of harvested rainwater. And it's something I continue to do. I do controlled atmospheres, like, shade house. I do innovations through use of solar. Everything on the farm is run on solar. I have 10 kilowatt hours of solar plant, and so I use solar for providing energy. As you walk through the farm, you will see a significant amount of drip irrigation throughout the whole matrix of the farm. I've invested in that over the years. I think that what I do here on this farm is a sustainable small farm, because it takes into account all of those factors that one would pay attention to if you are, one, going to be successful, and if you're going to sustain your family in the first instance, and three, if you're going to be able to support and sustain food security.
The theme for Agri Expo is A New Era, Leveraging Technology for Sustainable and Inclusive Agriculture.
I think it's fitting, your theme about innovation and sustainability. I've made an effort, one, to innovate, to take things from just fork and hoe, where my father used to do it, and have some very sophisticated stuff, including sensor and including, measure meters for different nutrients and pH and all that sort of thing that I use here on the farm, as well as transforming to, hydroponics from basic hand watering. Patrons like it because I offer an experience where they can come and pick up things here. The price it's written there, so I don't change the price, whether there's plenty or whether there's little. My price is the price all year round. So they like that transparency. The patrons also like it because, they talk about a vine-ripened tomato. They can come and I can either go and pick it for them, or some persons who I deem, responsible enough, I have them pick the items that they need, and then we wait and then we price it. So I've had very favorable response.
Atherton notes that farming can be attractive to young persons if technology is incorporated into it.
But I think that farming can be attractive and encouraging to younger folks if the technology side of it, the innovation side, and I think that's probably one of the reasons that you suggested that you came to me, because you would have seen, a whole lot of technologies that I apply to this farming operation. And, I'm very proud of that. And I have a lot of children, young people come here. Over the last 6 weeks, we have had people from the Nevis Academy. And we have had people from Gingerland. and we have had CFB, Clarence Fitzroy Bryant, and we have had the consortium from St. Kitts, and we have had people from St. Martin, Anguilla, Four Seasons, you know, all the hotels. The people have come here. They have done pieces here for Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Education. When they're doing their SBAs annually, the children come here. Some come individually, some come as a class. So I'm very happy to do that, because if one or two of them get serious and decide that, listen, this is what I love, and I'm going to take this up, I think my job would have been done.
Agri Expo is scheduled to take place on Thursday 27th and Friday 28th March at the El Camino T. Willett Park beginning at 8 a.m. The entrance fee is $5. There is no entry fee for students in uniform. Junior athletes from Nevis participated in the Federation's leg of the first Commonwealth Sport King's Baton Relay for Glasgow 2026. For the first time, each of the 74 Commonwealth nations and territories received its own baton, crafted in Glasgow. The Commonwealth Sport King's Baton was officially welcomed to the Federation at a ceremony coordinated by the St. Kitts and Nevis Commonwealth Games Association at Government House in St. Kitts, under the patronage of Governor-General Her Excellency Dame Marcella Liburd. On March 19th, Dennis Knight, president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Commonwealth Games Association, passed the baton to Algin Newton, acting director of the Department of Sports in Nevis.
We brought the baton to Nevis on this day, and it's been received by Mr. Newton, the acting director of sports, and we will hand that baton across the generations of youth right down until we give that back to preschooler. Of course, the baton relay is a tradition of the Commonwealth Sports Federation, started sometime back in about 1958 or so. For many years, of course, it was the Queen's Baton Relay. This is the first year that King Charles been on the throne. It will be the King's Baton Relay. Batons will be passed similarly in all 74 nations of the Commonwealth, and take a 500-day journey, which began on the 10th of March, last Monday, and will end when the baton arrives in Glasgow at the Commonwealth Games in the United Kingdom, in Scotland next year.
A traditional and fundamental part of the Commonwealth Games, the King's Baton Relay will culminate at the opening ceremony of Glasgow 2026 on July 23, 2026. As part of the reimagined relay, all 74 batons will be reunited. His Majesty's call to the athletes of the Commonwealth to come together in friendly competition will be read aloud by the King to mark the official start of the Commonwealth Games. Meantime, Commonwealth Games associations of the 74 Commonwealth nations and territories are allowed to decorate their batons for the King's Baton Relay to showcase their own culture, creativity, and vision. Dennis Knight, president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Commonwealth Games Association, explains.
We put images of St. Kitts and Nevis flanked by the national flag. On the next face, which has a face with the logo of the Games, Glasgow 2023, Commonwealth Sport. This bird, the brown pelican, is adorned in the national colors. We know that the brown pelican is our national bird, and of course, again, you see the colors of the national flag on each side.
On March 10th, His Majesty placed his message to the Commonwealth into the first baton, and each baton has been inscribed with a word from that message.
Our word is oceans. And so this, you see here, is work which was done by the artist Dennis Richards, showing some of our marine life and coral, and of course then, since it's oceans, the sides adorned in waves in the colors of the national flag. And so we're pretty proud of this baton.
And that's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.